We're gonna call the August 12, 2025 city council meeting to order. Remind everybody to silence your cell phones. We'll have our opening and prayer. Ms. Hampton, followed by the pledge of allegiance.
Our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you with thanks this evening, asking that you will guide us as we attend this meeting and do what we're supposed to do for the residents of this city. Asking that you will direct this meeting so that it is held in a safe and orderly fashion. Asking that you will guide our thoughts so that we can make the best decisions possible. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation, under God.
We could have a roll call, please.
Grimes,
Yeah.
Councilmember Hampton,
Here.
Councilmember Woodball,
Here.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Here.
Mayor Gentry.
Here. See, approval of the items on the consent agenda, approval to read by title only, resolution 2025-18. Approval to read by title only, ordinance 1055. Have a motion? Motion.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Gentry.
Yes. Receiving requests from the general public. Do we have anyone from the general public who would like to speak about anything that is not on the agenda? Hearing and seeing no one, we're gonna move on to bids. Do we have any bids, Carly? No bids at this time. Okay, move on to regular agenda items. General business, item 7A, Shauna Beach, Taylor County Property Appraiser to address the council and to give an update on property taxes for the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget, and council to take any action deemed necessary. Good evening.
Good afternoon, evening, yes.
Well, it is afternoon, isn't it? This feels like evening.
It really does. First, I want to thank y'all so much for asking me back. I'll join y'all and present this 2025 preliminary tax roll.
Thank you.
Okay. So before I start, if at any time y'all have any questions, please. Don't let They have. On page 2 of our presentation, we've got the 2025 City of Perry taxable value. And that is the percentages of taxable value. And we've got 71% is real property. Is this enough? Can y'all hear me? Or am I just killing? We're fine, y'all can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
So we've got 71% is real property and 28% is tangible personal property. And then just for anyone that doesn't know, that is, real property is everything that sits on the property. And that's buildings, the outbuildings, anything that is actually on the property as of January 1, 2025. Tangible personal property, that is a business's equipment. So they report that to us every year, and it is on a depreciated scale. So that is definitely a higher depreciation schedule than the real property. So last year, the amounts were 67% real property and 33% TPP. So this increase in real property percentage makes it a more stable market for your tax roll, and that's a good thing. So congratulations. Page 3. We've got the real property taxable value breakdown. We've got the largest percentage is in green, which is the improved residential. So that is anything that is not commercial that has something on it as far as buildings. Orange would be commercial, and we've got vacant residential 3%, agricultural 0.5%, and other. Page 4. Out of those improved residential parcels, we've got 87% are single family residential, those are stick-built homes. And around 12% are mobile homes, and then around 1% apartment condos. And this percentage is close to the same as prior years. Page 5, going even further into those improved residential parcels, 52% are homestead and 48% are non-homestead. In other words, permanent residency, about half of those homes in the city of Perry, and non-permanent residents, that makes about the other half. And then page 6, the page that y'all been looking for. This is the 2025 City of Perry taxable value by type. In 2024, the real property values were around 246 million. The TPP values were around 115 million, making for a total of 362 million. 2025 preliminary numbers are 262 million for real property, 105 million for tangible personal property, and 368 million for the total, causing for a positive increase, which is about 1.7% or 6.3 million. I was a little bit happier to present this one than other ones in the past, but this just is a direct reflection of investment into the city of Perry, not only commercially but as you saw residentially, that people are investing, and they're here even after 3 hurricanes and 2 mill shutdowns. We still have people here. We still have people investing, and that's what we want to see, and that's what we want to hear. Just kind of to go off of the tangible personal property decrease that you see, a major reason for that decrease was West Fraser, Ring Tower, Consolidated Communications, and Winn-Dixie, just as of January 1. So, and of course, that is preliminary values. That's not final values yet. We're still kind of, it'll obviously change, but
Shauna,
right now, that's.
you're saying ring power?
Ring Power's tangible personal property did decrease a little bit.
Okay,
That was.
gotcha.
Any more questions on that one? Okay, we can go to page 7. This is the City of Perry taxable value trends from 2015 to present. So it shows that trending from 2020, post-COVID, the real estate boom obviously started increasing, and a lot of those caps reset. So in that big boom of a real estate market, somebody that had a home and maybe had a homestead on it, like my realtor know exactly what I'm about to say, it had a homestead, they maybe had $100,000 value, and they had a 3% cap for a very long time. Then that real estate boom started happening, and say if they went from a $100,000 house to a $200,000 house, they were only paying taxes at max 3% of that value for a very long time. Well, when they sold a property, all of that value resets, and the new owner is paying on $200,000 worth of value instead of $100,000. So that's why we're still seeing that increase in value continue to trickle up, even though the market is maybe flattened a little bit. So just those sales, those resets of the caps and things like that. If you ever have any questions and want to dive deeper on that, please come to me. We can go over it. Page 8. This one was pretty interesting to me. I whenever I first saw it, I said, okay, let's recheck the numbers. Thank you. And sure enough, they were right. 2024, we saw an increase in new construction. This shows the value of new construction trends from 2015 to present. And 2024, new construction went up to $3.1 million. And that's a direct reflection of post-Idalia recovery. You know, that was, a lot of these homes were damaged, they had to reinvest, maybe it was a new roof, or it was add-on, or it was this, that, but it was definitely a new construction boom in 2024. And then 2025, we just didn't really see a lot of that new construction. So next year's will obviously be higher. We'll be adding the apartments and Zaxby, you know, any other autos or any other ones that have a CO before December 31st, 2025, we'll add to the 2026 roll. So that'll obviously increase next year. And then page 9. Number of qualified sales, 2015 to present. Again, we saw after 2020, the real estate boom, those sales increased and they are continuing to stay high. So this is just 2025 to date, and it's around half of what last year's was. So we're on the same trend. So City of Perry is still trending, is it? I could say. Any questions whatsoever? Just have anything that you maybe personal property that you say, man, this might actually be a good question for everybody to know, or anything like that, please ask, and I would be glad to answer.
I have one question. When it comes to our millage rates, what figure should we be using?
For the millage rates,
Yes.
what do you mean?
Um,
You mean like for the taxable value?
Right.
Yes, so that would be the taxable value, that would be page 6. And that would be your, right, Carly, tell me if I'm saying something wrong. 368,771,572. No, okay. Yep, so that's page 6, and then in the middle where it says 2025 preliminary, and then the total.
You say you use that amount and then you multiply the millage rate and everything, that's how you get your tax of what we'll receive in from people. Revenue.
So what we're using is correct figure.
Yes,
Okay.
it definitely is, because I actually, Trim has a new system, which is truth and millage. And you log in and they have prior year numbers in there and they have your taxable value in there, and you just input last year's millage and it gives you your options of rollback rate, maximum millage, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Well, thank y'all again for having me, and if you ever have any questions, please give me a call and I'll be glad to help.
Very good report.
Thank you. Agenda item 7B, Andy Jackson to present the council a plan for GP pipeline easement. Council will take any action deemed necessary.
We have exciting discussion. First off, let's take a little tour down history. It's been a couple of years since Duke Energy approached us to put our property under their program, which required us to do a whole lot of analysis as to what infrastructure was available and how appropriate our property was to be marketed. And, we've had a lot of support out of the city to do that. Mikhail Brown was here, and he did his best he could to help me answer those questions. Certainly when John came on board, he's been more than helpful in trying to understand the infrastructure that we have here in the city and what was available for our side and overall the site. Done an excellent job of that. Just as a point, after we had one meeting to kind of talk about what it was that Duke Energy came out and said, this is what you need to do to improve your site, make it more marketable. Right after Idalia and right after Georgia Pacific made their announcement, of course, all that was on the heels of West Fraser making their announcement. It was time for the second meeting. and of which we had great participation from the City of Perry, County Commission, TCDA, Duke Energy, and the North Florida Economic Development Partnership, Jeff Henry and Diane Schultz. They showed up. I had no idea who these people were at that meeting, but there they were. And a lot of those other folks, outside of the City of Perry have kind of faded off. But these folks have been with me nearly every day since that time, trying to work out different economic development opportunities for that property and for the city and county in general. Now, one of the things that happened right after that time is the Adams and Reese report was done, funded by the Department of Commerce from the county. And, so I took that report and asked some impact questions. I may ask some impact questions as to really what does that mean for our labor force and what does that mean for our economic positions? Yeah, you bet. I hate to fall over that. There's many more important things. And this is not party pattern. I came up with this last week. And what you'll find is if you do that summary, if you look, Taylor County tops the list of the number of loss of gross domestic product, loss of jobs, and also people moving out of the area. And it's not just Taylor County, it's all across North Florida. In fact, the only really bright spot is Lake City. They've become a veteran community for Gainesville. And the growth market there is in healthcare and education. So. Let's talk about why it is that I'm interested in infrastructure improvements here for Taylor County. And let's talk a little bit about the opportunities that we have in place. Everybody at the city council should have gotten a packet that I submitted. Did y'all get this? Good. Is that what I've had, these different businesses we've had come out there and look at our site. And we've had 18 hard hits that we've provided information. And this is a list of the businesses that we've had come out there, or at least we put in a request for information to. And they include advanced manufacturing, technology, some energy, agriculture stuff, God knows, health and wellness. But if you look at Lake City's numbers, health and wellness is a thing these days. We have logistics, commercial real estate, hospitality, and some education services. We've had interest from a lot of advanced manufacturing. So, I understand those are your high paid jobs. Now, if you flip over to the industry and utility requirements, what we found is that, yes, we have enough energy in Taylor County to easily run a 500 megawatt power plant. And Florida Gas Transmission is willing to run a line to City of Perry or anywhere else for that matter, for no charge, as long as they've got a user that's willing to sign a contract. Florida Gas Commerce has made a similar comment for a smaller line. Shame of it is, of course, they have to pay revenue to the City of Perry to the franchise group. Finance director smile. Would you like to get revenue off of the 10-inch high pressure gas line? It makes things easy. Some of the other things I found out is that actually talked to a data center referral. We have a dark fiber in this county. Dark fiber runs down Jefferson Street. And it actually, that same line is used by ViStar and Buckeye Credit Union. That line goes from, McDill Air Force Base to Eglin Air Force Base. It was installed on behalf of the Department of Defense. So it's a secure installation. So if you want to have high-speed internet here and actually have your own fiber, you can do it. It's not a problem. So Duke Energy, God bless, when we started out with the, Trans Legacy looking for electrical requirements, they said, we can give you 3 megawatts on your site. That's not very much. But after asking the question, the last time they came back was 25 megawatts. And they said, oh, by the way, if we'll get an agreement, we'll make that redundant. Might take a few years, but that's possible to do. The problem is water, wastewater particularly. John, can you give us a little update about the capacity of water and wastewater and city utilities?
I think it's what, 5 million gallons a day of water, you can't really do that, it's more like.
If we reduce that amount from the amount we're currently running, we could run comfortably 2 million. But with plans in the picture they're in, without a new facility, we wouldn't be able to run that much.
What's our high usage? I used to say,
1.8, 1.9,
so we're maxed out. So
pretty
what,
close.
then wastewater,
No, Sean, no.
wastewater, we're,
Over
we can do one,
capacity.
we can do 1.25 million gallons a day. On a rainy day, we're getting 2.5 to 3 million, we're already getting warning letters that we're over capacity for wastewater.
There you have it. Now, the big money jobs and the big industry, they want water, wastewater, energy, data,
Rail,
rail. We've got all of it except water and wastewater capacity in the city. However, Georgia Pacific side has a 50 million gallon a day wastewater plant. Over 50 million gallon a day water capacity. And a pipeline that runs to the Gulf, so you only have to have a spray field. John, how much capacity would that be for people?
50 million gallons wastewater. Probably 800,000 people.
Yeah, or some significant industry hits.
Anyway,
Right, and the industry hits we're looking at here are looking at 1 to 2 million gallons a day of wastewater, but they gotta have it. So the last proposal we did, which offers a significant number of jobs in North Florida and close to 2,000 jobs in the city of Perry, need wastewater. They need water. And we had to tell them, you can build one for about $40 to $50 million. We'll hurry up and help you get the permits. Now, I don't know about y'all, but 800,000 jobs, excuse me, 8,000 jobs around North Florida. If you look at that economic statement that I just gave, research, it makes an impact. And one of the things this bunch wants is they want universities. They want schools. They want to be a way to train and educate their workforce of the people that work and the people that design. So it involved all of the universities in our little region and all of the community colleges and trade colleges that we have. That's why it's important that we do what we can to look at those assets and do what we can to not just let them disappear. Dan, would you say a few words for us about infrastructure, wastewater capacity?
I work in economic development, specifically with infrastructure in Will County since 2000. I spent 9 years in the governor's office. And I did more state versus years. And infrastructure is, you just have to have, it. I mean, you can't even build your own homes if you don't have water, whether it's a well or whether it's a septic. So when you start talking to somebody and they say, well, what capacity do you have? And then we turn around and ask, well, how much do you need? It can be overwhelming. Because it takes years to get the funding in place. I have worked with many of the counties, probably the most recent is Swanee County. And they are putting in a huge wastewater treatment facility there. And with that, they can actually say, yes, we'll have it done such and such a day. To say, well, we can get it for you. We don't have it now, but we can get it for you. It takes years and it takes so many millions of dollars, the permitting, the engineering, going back and forth with DEP to get all that done in the water management district. So to me, when I realized that GP was beginning to demolish some of their facilities out there, I asked the question. I said, well, what are they going to do with the water and wastewater? Nobody seemed to know. One room I heard, and I'm sure it was wrong, but one room, well, I guess they'll demolish it too. And I'm like, how can you possibly want to demolish it? And I said, there are 9 wells out there. And based on information we've got, 9 of those deep water wells, that, of the 9, there are 2 that have been plugged. And that's probably because of various intrusion, could be water tables very high out there. We don't have those answers at this point. I reached out to Department of Environmental Protection, and I located somebody in the Secretary's office that was able to really understand what I was talking about, because they specifically work with rural water. And when I expressed to them what I was trying to convey to both the county and the city of Perry, that it takes so long, it takes so much money. Why did we not try to at least see if there was some way to either transfer or obtain it? And I can't even really say purchase, because I don't think the city of Perry or Taylor County can afford to outright purchase them. But there's a lot of different ways you can convey usage, whether it's a lease, maybe it's an interlocal agreement. But to try to put all that funding together and realize that it would take so many years to do that. Perry doesn't have that much time. Perry doesn't even, y'all know already how much. And Commissioner Debs is here because he understands too the revenue loss to this county from those industries leaving. So if we can get the infrastructure in place, we can certainly, we've got enough leads already. And there's one that's still out there that caused me to go ahead and email Secretary of Commerce and one of his deputy secretaries, as well as the lead development manager there at Commerce for this particular project. And to follow up again, because initially they didn't think that Taylor County had the kind of infrastructure it's going to take. And then with Andy's creativity and his research, we were able to prove the point that we can actually be able to do that. Whether it's a company deciding to use the gas transmission line and build their own generating facility right there on site, or if they choose to do it a different way, there are a lot of other options. Now, fortunately, and I do thank the good Lord for this, on my way over here this afternoon, I don't live in Tallahassee, I live in Calhoun County. And I was on my way here and I got another call from Department of Environmental Protection. And they were following up because they've already found there's a lot of interest within DEP. And the individual wanted to ask me a lot of big questions, just general kind of questions. And I expressed the fact that I appreciate their interest, that we're not coming here tonight in hopes that the city of Perry would be on board with trying to see if there's some way to acquire usage of the two facilities water and wastewater. And I was told that they're going to actually go ahead and carry all of this. They asked that I let them know how things go. But they said they want to take it to the Secretary of DEP and one of his undersecretaries, because there's that level of interest. Now, having been with economic development as long as I have, the last thing anybody wants to see happen is for all the grant funds that we have got in things. And quite frankly, when that transmission line was built, I believe at least part of it was rural infrastructure money. Because that was the projects that I had when that flood line had to be built to run along the Dead Hollow River. It was one of those things that you look back at all the money that it's spent, chances are there were a lot of other incentives that went along with this, that the state has invested trying to keep this company that had been there stabilized. Now that it's gone, what are you gonna do with the asset? It's one thing to take down buildings. Another thing to do a huge environmental assessment of the site itself when production was going on. But to have this kind of water available to you and wastewater just is, to me, bad to consider just destroying it or just walk away from it and ignore it. So for that reason, that's really why we're here, in hopes that you, council members and mayor, in hopes that you will give some consideration to actually help us at least investigate the possibility and realize that this could just be a wonderful asset for the city, because you are the one that does all the utilities. And it's just a natural match. If I can answer any questions, I'll be glad to. If I was too brief, ask me anything that I didn't cover.
Okay, if you,
Yes,
I want-
encouraging.
Let's go to the next part of this. Now, I'm gonna admit, I misspoke earlier when I referenced the Adams Breeze report. That first document I gave you was from the labor shed analysis that was done for Perry and Lake City by Duke Energy. And, so it was strictly based upon jobs, job skills, and basically who was available to do the work and where they've all gone and what the impact of them coming or leaving was. What I'm gonna talk to you now is about the Adams and Breeze report that we did. I took that as a basis and asked a simple question. What are the contaminants that are actually at that mill site? And what are the limits that the EPA has set for those contaminants? And what are the levels actually at the site? And what are the health considerations that are associated with those contaminants? And of course, the big one on the top of the list is dioxin. Y'all all remember the story of what they found in Holloway and how it became fishbowl, swimbowl, how we got to the pipeline business. So further, I asked, okay, what does it take to remove those contaminants? And how much money are we talking about? And has anybody else in the United States done this? And what has been their success on these kind of sites? And what they came back with was about $400 million or more to be able to remove those contaminants from that site. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd hate to be the business that went in there and bought that site. And first thing I had to do was spend $400 million just to make my brownfield site work. So I don't know, we've all held out hope as soon as they'll clean it up, somebody will come by it. But according to that report, this could take years and a lot of money. And from our further research, they don't seem to have a published plan that they've talked about as to how they're going to do this and whether they're going to follow those methods. So I wouldn't buy the site. I wouldn't recommend you buy the site, but I'd recommend we figure out a way to use that water and wastewater capacity that's out there. Now, with a little encouragement with, from economic development, it's third party involvement. GP talked to us. Wouldn't give us an answer. But they talked to us. And there, two things came out of it. One is, we'll get back to you on the price. And the other is, if they were scared to death, that, Four Rivers was gonna make them dig that pipeline. Now, and there's all over that easement issue. Well, county government is the only one that can come in with using eminent domain and take that easement and take that negotiation off the table and save that pipeline. So that's why we've talked about using eminent domain. Maybe nothing more than just gets them to the discussion, get them to the bargaining table, both sides, work out an equitable agreement, and let's all work for the betterment of this city and county and area to take advantage of a resource that would be a shot in our economic development. That's what we're looking for. The other question that came up is, well, gee, do you have to buy the whole, do you have to buy the land, or you just do the easement, or what the deal is? That's attached to the back of that packet. Quite frankly, I'll leave that for the legal folks to talk about. I'm not a lawyer, don't plan to be, but I would like to carry the discussion forward because Georgia Pacific offered a chance for us to negotiate if we would sign a non-disclosure agreement. So that's the other part. So we're really asking three things tonight. One is to support the county with their investigation and eminent domain. Number two, to give John Hart authority to basically talk to him by let's work it out in the NDA. And there's one more piece of this thing, and it's how you fund it. And you have a comment on that? How do we fund it? Sorry, I should have asked you that earlier.
But there is a program that would help. There's a number of programs through the state of Florida that could help. Even with DEP, there are some opportunities there for them to have funding. And like I was attempting to express before, there is no easy cut and dry, this. But until we start exploring, number one, get the price. And I spoke with them. Yes, it's been about 5 times now, the individual GP. And they're calling me. They are hopeful that they can strike some sort of a negotiated deal because they can't take it with them. They know, just like we know, that with that level of capacity, what other company are you going to bring in that would need that kind of capacity? It can't be a wood processing facility because they've restricted that from any sale. So, having said that, it's going to take an effort to come them together. There is a local government emergency bridge loan, and you can apply for that. It's for 10 years, interest free, and that is one possibility. There's possibility of using other funds within the Department of Commerce, also within the Department of Economic, Department of Environmental Protection. And there is no easy answer. You may even be able to get the legislative appropriation help. Because I'm sorry, I cannot imagine any sophisticated thinker within any of those departments that would not see the value. And I still go back and say, if you don't do this, and I'm just saying the state, county, city, if it's not done, then what are you gonna do with those two assets? We can't just stick our head around and say, oh, well, you know, what are we doing? There's such a value there. And I've even had conversations about a regional authority. And initially, I talked to John about it. I talked to an environmental engineer about it. They said, well, that would take a lot of pipeline. And I'm like, Yes, it would. And it really, in my mind, was not conceivable of being able to do that. And then a week ago, I received an email from one of our counties just south that they were all up in arms because they don't have drinkable water in most of those communities that run along the coast, whether it's Levy County, Taylor County, Dixie County, because their water table is so low, the water is really not suitable to drink. It tastes on. Now, it may be safe to drink, but it's not good drinking. And there's a Wassisa, water authority that they're trying to get to do something. And I'm not even sure that particular organization has really formalized with the state of Florida. But what I'm saying is they're raising this issue all along. So if you had these two assets, there's a good likelihood that you could be providing water to all those coastal. There's so many options out there of what could be done. And just to say, oh, well, I don't think really wants to do it. I really think Taylor County has, and City of Cary has a great opportunity.
I
It was about, yeah,
I'm not gonna take a whole lot of your time, other than to share the broader picture on economic development, business improvement, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, and I mean this genuinely, I've worked with a lot of people in the last 17 years in this industry. Never met a person, and I mean this statewide, and frankly in the Southeast, that knows more about rural economic development than my colleague Diane Schultz, and I'll just meet. And there's nobody that's more relentless in trying to figure out a creative solution to things that can happen. And I think that's kind of what you see here is our unwillingness to just let this down the bottom. Because I know y'all are worn down, I know you get beat down, I know you see 2 mills closed, and I share this story. My grandfather and my father worked out at that Buckeye plant for years. And so when you see that, it's not about the historical and emotional attachment, which y'all all have here in this community. When you see West Fraser's GP closed, but it's about, okay, how do you keep that momentum going about how do we solve this issue? Because there is an issue to be solved. You have an unbelievable asset out there. You heard John and the others talk about 50 million a day. That is just unheard of in this entire region, much less this state. And so what is it that the state's willing to do, this city, this county, to try to, I think it's more or less get access to that resource, whatever that solution might be. Everybody in this room knows that the city of Perry and Taylor County can't go out there and write a check and buy it. But there are people that have a vested interest in the success of this community, us being part of it. We manage a 15 rural county area. Taylor County is one of those where we recruit business and industry to come in to these, and we've had a number of leads, as Andy has said, come into this county. But again, across our entire region, the issue of wastewater, it's not power, it's not utilities, it's not, a number of these things. It's coming down to water and wastewater are really the infrastructure we've got to have in order to accommodate a lot of the leaks we're getting. You got a workforce here. Some of them are working places just by sheer need to have to go outside this area and work. You've got skilled workforce in these kinds of industries, so we're looking at recruiting in this area. But I do believe, I'm not saying it's the panacea, but what I am telling you is that if there's a way to get folks to the negotiating or even the discussion, table to talk about what's in the best interest, not only of this county and the city. Let's face it, you're dealing with a for-profit company. We got to figure out a way to meet them where they need to be on that as well. But again, I can't think of a more, these folks have sunk their life for the last 4 or 5 months. I know y'all have lived it longer than that. They're trying to find and move that ball up the hill to find a solution to this. And I just think we would all be, we don't want to regret not finishing this off. And I just encourage the city to kind of work in tandem with the county and just at least trying to explore what the possibilities might be, because that's where we are right now. We're not here to solve it tonight, with, I think, a proposed resolution, but what we are trying to say is the city and the county want to both move forward and trying to figure out a solution to this, so we don't lose that access to that asset. So that's really all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff. One last thing, there's September 29th deadline on the emergency bridge loan, 26th. That date sound pretty familiar to everybody? That's when Helene came from. Right? And, so all this is hurricane related. You gotta apply before then. There's several $1 billion in the fund. Applying does not mean you have to take the money, the interest-free money that you pay back in 10 years. Okay, but we would have appreciated if you guys would apply at least. So if you have the option to pursue something, you know, with this situation or any other situation that you might find related. The last one I have, and finally on my part, guys, I'm on several property. I've done enough marketing and, we've got enough leads out there. It's gonna get sold. Same price. It might be for no jobs, or it might be for a bunch of jobs. And somebody that lives here locally, I prefer the latter. I prefer let's make an impact with our resources, assets. Let's do something. Thomas, you got something that you'd like to say, sir?
You know, I used to be on city council. When I was on city council, my attitude was, we need to be able to keep our young people in Taylor County when they live it. And since I've been living here and looking on city council and now on county commissioner, we are losing people to other big cities, you know. If your child graduates from high school, go to college or some trade school, you gotta go up there to Colorado to make a living. You haven't done much for him. You've done a lot for him to make a living, but he can't stay at home. You know, we getting old too. I like to have my children home to see about me when I get pregnant. And then they also like to stay here to be able to make a living, a decent living. So when I talk with Andy, when I talk with Diane and Jeff, and I am on the board of the North Florida Economic Development Council. I follow that board. I've heard, I've seen what other people do. It is possible. But if you don't have an interest, it makes a difference. These people have an interest. I have a vested interest in seeing the Taylor County grow. I don't want it to look like 26 miles up the road. I want it to look to be a thriving community. That's all we're asking. If you support us and we go forward, it says that we apply for the loan, and things fall through, we don't get it, we don't own anything. So at least we need to make an effort to do our best.
Thank you, Thomas. I can't say any better than that. Thank you all for your attention. Any questions?
Okay, my question is, if we move forward with this resolution, what exactly are we binding ourselves to? The thing, I guess I'm concerned more than anything.
You're cheering on the county commission. You're supporting.
Okay, the water plant, the wastewater plant, who's gonna operate it?
That needs to be determined.
That thing, I mean, I know what it costs to run ours, and this thing's way bigger,
It is.
both ways.
But then on the other hand, Georgia Pacific's gotta run that thing for a while. They gotta take that, site down, they gotta decontaminate, and they still have stormwater runoff, and they have to pump out the wells to prevent, contamination. Leave the property.
We don't currently have the operators required that would be able to even do these kind of plants. A 50 million gallon a day water plant would require probably a class A drinking water operator's license, which nobody here has. has IFC license itself, that's all we need for the city here currently.
Mm.
The wastewater department is still needing a B license, they don't have that yet either. And plant that side will probably also require an A wastewater. So just in operator requirements, we would have to immediately be looking to hire someone if the city were to take on any of that.
If you could find
But
it.
in the meantime, if Georgia Pacific had a way to facilitate that, that's an option. But that's hypothetical.
Do we have anyone in school with getting the B?
No,
Not
there's no
good on
requirement
the time.
on the drinking water side to have these, also why we got.
Okay. If they got eminent domain, who would? That, I mean, eminent domain is buying it. Would the liability come with it?
If you went after the contaminated areas, it would, but if you just go after the pipeline. Is you want to go eminent domain, but the pipeline plant is to relieve the pressure of four rivers on Georgia Pacific so they can maintain that pipeline.
So they don't have to pull it out of the ground. That is an option. They'll have to put that whole pipeline out of the ground. Eminent domain to stop that process. That would be beneficial. Everybody.
16. That's 9.5, it's, yeah,
Done.
Table it to the next meeting. Wanda called me yesterday, said they haven't made an official pursuit to obtain the deed. Right now, we have nothing to support until they make a move. So I'll say we see what they do, I guess, tonight. I think they're talking about it
no, that's next week.
next week.
Well, it'd be nice if we could go into that meeting, because one of the committees was, we want to know if the city supports this. So which one comes first?
I think we-
Well, I think we need to know what we're supporting,
Sure do.
and if they haven't finalized it, we don't know.
Say you support the pipeline not be pulled out of the ground.
Yeah.
They do whatever they, county chooses to do, when we decide to back them, I think we do that next meeting or after their meeting.
Do you need the authorization regarding any communication about this NDA with Georgia Pacific
Yes.
as well? Is that can be done today?
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I don't know what the answer is. Seeing either the wastewater or the water facility removed or that pipeline removed is bad for the whole county. If it comes to that point, it is gonna come to eminent domain. If they start pulling it out, we're gonna have to do something to stop it.
I'm not against it all. I'm just trying to look at all directions of this thing. I mean, you probably have more information about it than anybody in this room, I'm guessing.
We talked to DP, and if they lose that, lawsuit or whatever it's in right now, they will be forced to pull it out of the ground. Bob Kate confusing, we call it the nuclear option. They already pulled the nuclear option. Nuclear option will shut the mill down.
Shut it.
What's pull the pipeline out? That's nothing now.
They did know.
Or it takes the pipeline to the ground. I don't know what the answer is.
Can't support eminent domain.
Unless you wanna, so the best thing is just wait till see what the county commission,
We're saying we're supporting Taylor County's pursuit. We don't know what their pursuit is right now. So they make a decision what they're gonna do.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could change the resolution and say we support the investigation into the.
That's not, I've just got a lot of questions.
I don't think it matters if you pass it tonight or not. I think we all agree that we need that pipeline in the ground. However that takes, however that looks. Whether that be by resolution or motion or whatever.
It should be real helpful to have that in our pocket. We can talk to them next week,
Talk to who?
county commission, go back to the next meeting.
Do you think us, our resolution's gonna Make,
Show support, I think. If we had this support going in, you know, I don't know anybody on the commission that's not employed. But it's continued upon what kind of commissions do. I'm for it. I can't stress it enough. Not only for me, but the entire team.
I think the word eminent domain kind of freaks everybody out. If we can change the resolution to say we support Taylor County's pursuit and keeping the pipeline in the ground. Whatever that looks like, I can go with that.
Yeah.
Is the problem regarding eminent domain or what makes people feel uncomfortable is the idea of who would end up owning it or just any action that was made regarding private property? Like, what is the problem?
But the-
Well, I was asking that only because I did hear a question about like who's gonna own it or the idea of who could even operate it versus the idea that if they need to take it through eminent domain, that we support the county in doing that.
You better talk to them, they might have
Well-
a sale property, good value, $100,000, I don't know what the number looks like. Not if you're buying the pipeline, you're not buying the land, you're buying the use of the pipeline.
is that what the eminent domain is?
Finding anything. It's saying whether we
So,
support.
the county, the state, DP, whoever it is. Somebody just have it so it doesn't get pulled out of the ground. And if- I'm not an attorney, but we could buy it, they look at us and say, well, you're not using it, you pull it out of the ground.
Yeah.
Be real bad.
I guess that's the nice way, like, we're not. Taylor County has the authority to do that.
There's a whole lot of things I don't know about the whole thing, and
That's why they just want support of the county pursuit.
there's a million, I won't say a million questions, but just a lot of questions. I
Yeah,
don't know the answer to.
full support could mean a lot of things. It could get into financial support easily.
Oh, I hate to put you on the spot, but do you have the PCA's recommendations?
Certain work all the time. We rinse with all. Yes, for a conflict, discuss it with us. So I will just let you know that what we did yesterday at our board meeting was discuss, of course, we haven't been asked, but we still thought we should have an opinion. And I brought that with me, and right now I'm stalling because I'm trying to find it. One more second. Here's what we just agreed on yesterday, and I could talk much longer than you may want to hear, but let me just read this. The TCDA Board of Directors supports the City of Perry's 5-year capital plan to build an appropriately designed and sized wastewater treatment facility to support the future needs of our growing community and industrial base. We sidetracked it from there. You already know in your 5-year plan, you have a big project to completely upgrade and rebuild your own wastewater treatment plant. That's already in the 5-year plan. That's not new. While GP's treated effluent discharge pipeline could be utilized in tandem with a future city wastewater treatment facility, the board believes GP's wastewater treatment facility, to keep those separate, wastewater treatment facility, is significantly oversized for the community and would be prohibitively costly to purchase, operate, and maintain. Wastewater treatment facility may be appropriate for a future large industry choosing to locate on the remediated former GP site, but not for county or city ownership. The board believes that resorting to eminent domain actions by the city or county will discourage industries from locating in Taylor County.
Even though it's silenced, then it still does that.
Rather, our focus should be to recruit new businesses to the brownfield site created by the completion of the GP closure and remediation plan. That's the board's agreed upon verbiage yesterday for the Taylor County Development Authority. I do have a few comments since I'm here, and otherwise I really didn't. feel strongly to slow this meeting down. First, again, we support economic development across Taylor County, and we're also working on a lot of initiatives, some of which include Andy and some of which don't include Andy at this point. So there's much more happening behind the scenes. As you know, when you get the quarterly updates, which you're due for in just about 4 more weeks. It's a big visible asset to look at that wastewater treatment system at Georgia Pacific. It's not unreasonable to look at it and wonder if this would be a valuable asset for Taylor County. Let me tell you what that is. It's defined by permit. We talk about it as if it's a porta potty, but it's not a porta potty. This is the wastewater treatment system as defined in the permit. Primary treatment, including lift station, bar racks, primary clarifier with skimming pond, sludge pumps, 225 acres of solid settling basins, a mixed box including pH control, foul condensate injection system, our urea ammonium nitrate addition system, a 4-cell influent cooling tower, and a 46 million gallon influent surge basin with floating pumps. Secondary activated sludge treatment, including a 32 million gallon aeration basin with floating surface aerators, 2 secondary clarifiers with polymer addition, return activated sludge pumps, and waste activated sludge pumps. Secondary sludge dewatering system with 2 trains, consisting of gravity belt thickeners and centrifuges with polymer addition. Tertiary treatment, including a 39 million gallon aerated stabilization basin and 107 acres of legacy solid storage basins, including stormwater collection and return to the secondary treatment effluent. Non-potable water reuse system for reuse of treated effluent for wash and rinse water, stormwater collection and management system. 1/3 of everything I just said is inside the mill site. Only 2/3 sits on the Red Paget Road. So if someone says, I want to buy or take Georgia Pacific's wastewater treatment system, we're not talking about just what's on the Red Paget Road, which looks like it's sitting out there like a porta potty. It's actually a lot of stuff inside the mill that you're taking as well. It's bigger than what is needed. If you look at Columbia County, which is held up as a good one, they have a 20-acre site that is capable of processing 500 million gallons a day. This is capable of processing 50 million gallons a day. So all of Columbia County's system is only 1/100th of Georgia Pacific's. But as John said, 800,000 people. We don't have 800,000 people. What we had was a pulp mill. This was specifically designed for a pulp mill effluent load, pulp mill solids, pulp mill chemistry. Ward Smith built Columbia County's wastewater treatment system. Guess what? They built Georgia Pacific's as well. So we talked to them today. They spent $30 million building that 20-acre site. They said it would take more than $30 million to convert the Georgia Pacific to a more reasonable flow. You can't just take a 50 million gallon a day plant and then run it at 500,000, 1/100th of its design. It won't work. It won't happen. The activated sludge system will not work. It has to be modified. So if we buy it, if we get the grant, if we get the funds, if they will sell it to it or give it to us, we still have to spend more than $30 million just to modify it to be something functional that we could use. Or we could spend the same $30 million to build a new one like Columbia County did. Or we could focus our money on what John's doing with a 5-year plan to do that. So I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. I just want to make sure you know what all else we have to think about. This is not a generic water treatment plant. Why can it handle 4 million gallons of rainwater or well water a day? Because now it's going back to being an aerated stabilization basin and not an activated sludge system. But if you run as activated sludge, which is what it's permitted to do, it has to have the flow to go through it to make it work. So I would just say, at Georgia Pacific, I said this to the county commissioners 2 weeks ago. I'm not telling you what to think, but I am telling you what you need to be thinking about. So you're asking the right questions. County commissioners have not voted for this. They have not said, they've not been any kind of a vote that says proceed, get after it, let's go for it. It's next Tuesday night when it's on their agenda for something that could be a motion, a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a vote. I'm not telling you shouldn't support it, I'm not telling you should. If there is an asset that makes sense, it is the pipeline, and that's actually what your agenda item was tonight. It was whether or not to support the pipeline. Wastewater treatment system is not mentioned on your agenda tonight. It just came up. The pipeline is a very unique asset. It goes from Foley to the Gulf. We could have industry all the way down to the Gulf tying into that. That would be wonderful. It would be very useful. I completely support that the pipeline is a good thing. I'm not sure yet that we know it's gonna have to be ripped out of the ground. This is a court case, and court cases have steps and stages and conclusions. So I'm not sure that is the right point to insert yourself. But certainly do not disagree with Andy or Diane or Jeff that the pipeline is a nice asset. I think the wastewater treatment system is this is not the board's opinion. I think the wastewater treatment system is a mistake. Thank you.
Bob, it was mentioned about all the wells that they have out there and how much water they generate.
Yes.
And it was enough to even supply other counties. How feasible is that?
What we understand at this point, we also communicate with Georgia Pacific, so it's not just like we're sitting on the sidelines. At this point, they have said, we are going to remediate the site. We have 25,000 acres. We're not going to sell it as one thing. There's the mill site, which they're calling somewhere between 1,800 and 2,100 acres. So they have yet to say, where's that boundary at? Then there is the 5,000 acre well water protection line. That's the Rosehead property where the 9 wells are at. And I think that right now that there's no plan to take them up. I can't say that, but they have not been running 2 of those well pumps for years and years because of infiltration and fractures, and you didn't need it. The water used to be 50 million gallons a day. Of course, you know, their consumptive use permit a day is only 38 million. So they haven't been using 50 million for a while. But who can say if they're gonna, I have predicted many things GP would do and been wrong on some of them. What they tell us at this point is they're trying to remediate the site. By the way, the research, if you, as I understood you say, if you remove the dioxin, you can spend $400 million. That's not required by law. All you have to do is cap it. So you can cap those sites. That number 2 settling pond that has dioxin, definitely has dioxin. You can cap it and walk away from it, just like they cap landfills. They put 4 feet of clay on them, they put a groundwater collection system. And so I actually would agree, Florida DEP thinks it's gonna be an excellent brownfield site. And they intend to get it remediated to the point that it will be an excellent site. And it certainly can be remediated, we believe, of course, only GP knows, but for much less than $400 million. That would be a going in and mining all the solids out and taking them like to a landfill in Emile, Alabama that's permitted to handle this kind of waste. What you actually want to do is not disturb it at all. Put a cap over it. And then do the groundwater testing to make sure that you're not contaminating groundwater. That's a good question. Other questions?
Question. You had noted that what was on the calendar today was talking about the domain and pipeline. The resolution, as is noted now, would you be in support of that? I know you were commenting as to your opinion as to wastewater, but as to the resolution, I don't know if you even got a copy of it. I can't see it, but you noted it. Maybe you did.
Just hopefully, really.
Okay, would you be in support of that?
I'm not in support of them even telling me.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
I see it used, and I'm not a lawyer either. I want to be very, and I might look like we're not aligned, we're aligned in many ways. You think about it, you want to put a mall in and 40 acres get sold and 4 don't, and you come in and say, we can't have the mall if we don't have those last 4 acres. What we're talking about here is much more hypothetical and what if, and this could be terrible, and what if it's terrible, boy, that we sure need to go in and do this. And I think you got to let it get a little more down the road where there's more clarity and more definition before you do this. Taylor County gets known as, Jeff's out here recruiting, Diane's recruiting, we're recruiting, and our reputation gets, well, if you don't do it right, we'll just take it from you. I see that as bad position to put ourselves in. Not that we wouldn't do, but we better really think that through before we say, you know, this could be, we'll just use it to get them to the negotiating table. It's gotta be a different way to do it than to start threatening. That's it. The questions for me? Bill?
Oh, this resolution was discussed at the
Board meeting.
The resolution was not discussed at the board meeting yesterday.
was not.
What was discussed was really the content of the county commissioners meeting 2 weeks ago. So we had those notes in the newspaper article and the comments that were shared there, and that's what we used to frame our conversation. Again, I'm an employee of the board. I'm not the board, but I just read you the boards. They voted on it. It's passed. So it is the board's position. Any other questions for me?
Motion.
A motion, we table it.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Second, I'm sorry. Same. Councilmember Rhodes,
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we're just gonna vote to table it.
we don't need a
Table it.
Table.
Table this.
Councilmember Browns. Councilmember Hampton. Yes. Councilmember Rufault.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry.
Yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
Yes, because I have a lot of questions. And tonight's brought up a lot more questions. So. Thank y'all.
There are two other things. One is the, y'all even want to talk to Georgia Pacific, kind of like the, look at. And you ought to just wait for those people to give the information later.
Repeat your question. Maybe
Well,
statement.
there were two issues. One was the resolution. Second one was the NDA request from, Georgia Pacific, to have a discussion. And the third was to, apply for the emergency bridge loan, even though you don't need money or you have to take it.
See the NDA, you don't. I don't see the NDA on here.
I don't see it.
It's not a resolution. It was given to us, the other information, where it says summary of requested city council action.
It's what?
It's not on the agenda. It was a part of the packet.
It's in your summary.
It says City of Perry City Council meeting summary.
Oh,
of
the
requested
summary?
actions. Yes. At the midpoint, just the summary of requested action. District action, action, or the city action suggested. You all take the resolution to support it, of the Taylor County domain action. The second one was whether you would authorize the pursuit of state of Florida emergency bridge loan. The loan he referred to that you can use or not use. If it's granted, it's interest free and paid back in 10 years. To allow for the city manager to apply for that. The deadline, I guess, is September 26th. And the third action was to authorize, was requesting that you authorize John Hart, city manager, to be able to enter in a non-disclosure agreement with Georgia Pacific if he wanted to take the opportunity to negotiate or consider anything that would be of a confidential technical. But that's what, so he was asking if there could be some decision as to those other two actions.
What hurt to talk to them?
Okay, so you want the NDA? What about the bridge loan?
I'll get $2 billion to that. $5 billion. It's $2 billion, but it is interest free. But you could pay off.
When do we have to apply for it by? September 26th? We've got, I mean, we have time to apply for it at another future meeting. Right?
But we use just for operating costs, you covered everything on that. So we can prove that we needed the money because it was used for operating costs, but then how you use it going forward, be a little, especially if you're using it to make a capital purchase.
I was just gonna ask you that question.
Yeah, these two don't mix well.
Yeah.
Really would like to get it out somewhere other than. That's your percent.
We bring that up at the next meeting.
Sure.
Okay. So the NDA, you do want to go ahead and go forward with the NDA so you can at least talk? Yes, ma'am. Do you have a second? On the, just for John to have an NDA to, just for John to have an NDA to talk to Georgia Pacific.
Second.
Okay. Ready for roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilmember Grimes,
That's for John to have an NDA to talk to Georgia Pacific.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kevin.
Yes. All right, thank y'all. Yeah, agenda item 7D, ordinance 1055. Public hearing and final reading of ordinance number 1055 for Duke Energy franchise agreement. And council will take any action deemed necessary. An ordinance granting to Duke Energy Florida LLC, DBA Duke Energy, an electric utility rights of way utilization franchise, describing the terms and conditions related to the occupancy of municipal streets and rights of way in the city of Perry, Florida, for the purpose of providing electric service, providing for severability of provisions, and providing an effective date. You like to speak?
I'll be brief, but as always, I want to reiterate how much we appreciate on behalf of Duke Energy, the business relationship that we've had with the city for, and with this current agreement for like 30 years. And I'm simply here to ask or answer any additional questions that you might have of me tonight, and request that you approve our renewal for the franchise agreement going forward.
All right.
Agreement, what's the fee on that?
6%.
6%.
Yes, and that's the standard rate across most municipalities.
We won't settle. We won't settle.
6.025.
Oh, you gotta stop.
Ma'am. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this? Anybody? Ms. Hampton motions, do we have a second?
Second.
Woodball second. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. I would like to say too, just now that we're said and done and you voted again, I know your response during the hurricanes has been second to none, in my opinion.
Thank you very much.
I firsthand watched, armies of people roll into town. It was well put together, well organized, and it was pretty amazing to watch, actually.
And you're a part of that.
So,
Many of us
I'm
are
just-
part of
But, I'm just saying that with the amount of damage we had, especially in Adelia, it was amazing to watch everything that happened as quick as it did. So,
I'll pass that along. We are prepared for the next storm season, but let's hope we're prepared for nothing.
heard that.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sending the guys out. Those repairs got to. Thank you.
I'll hang around for this next case.
Okay. Okay. Agenda item 7E, council to discuss Duke Energy easement for the Boys and Girls Club and council to take any action deemed necessary. John, you want to talk about it or you want me to? Okay. Simply put, the kitchen expansion at the Boys and Girls Club, the pavilion. We're trying to increase it from, or they're trying to increase it from 100 amps to 400 amps. Because it was basically built for 3 lights and a couple of plugs. Now they're putting a, full-blown kitchen in it. It's overloaded and they're expanding it. They're changing it from 100 amp to a 400 amp. They gotta put in bigger wires to do it. They gotta add one more pole. Even though it's been there for 35 years, the new pole triggered the need for an easement to go across there.
She had said something about that.
Just repeating what you said.
Yeah, the one new pole triggered, the need for an easement. It's gonna follow the same path. This is gonna be a bigger wire and one more support pole. Just what it boils down to. I wasn't pulled into that because of the city council. I was pulled into that because I'm Emily's husband.
Got it.
Yes,
Y'all got to vote on this.
voted on it.
Mayor sign it.
It's Franken.
They just,
Easement agreement.
yeah, they're gonna use the same exact poles, except they're adding one more at the building because the wires are bigger,
Make
I
a
think.
motion.
Everything.
Make a motion.
Motion?
Councilmember Bruns,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall. Yes. Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
Yes. Then item 6F. Budget workshop. Council to continue discussion on fiscal year 2025, 2026 budget, and council to take any action deemed necessary.
PowerPoint with the millage rate options, this is what y'all asked for the last time. You won't vote on any of this until the two public hearings is. But the prior year, millage rate 5.8336, this would bring in $2,151,266. And $27,492 of this is gonna go to the CRA fund. This would be a 0.25% change from the rollback rate, and this is the city manager's recommendation to fund our budget, so it's currently what's in the budget. The current year rollback rate would be 5.8188, and it would bring in $2,145,808. And I did confirm with the property appraiser that those amounts are correct.
And the notes, the city continue to add on revenue estimates. In the state, after the
Yes.
city does.
So those, some of them have been received, and I had a mark like in the columns where I would say it was from DOR, and I had the actual or DOR, and I had an estimate, or I was waiting. There's just certain things that they can publish them anytime in August, and they haven't published them yet. So like local communications tax hasn't been, we did get quite a few, but there are still some that I'm waiting on.
Things.
Everything plugged into the budget to put a sound system in this room.
That was,
We had that in the, but yeah.
it's in this year's, I should say,
Oh, is it?
yes.
Everybody's trying to give me overkill oil. Nobody's understanding.
I've been,
Jamie Bidden put that in
Say what?
the sound system, yeah.
I've helped him with negotiations, and
Mhm.
everybody wants to overbuild what we need.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the problem. We can't find a vendor willing to meet our needs. They want to force stuff on us that we don't need.
I don't know what my budget is.
Yeah.
yes.
The last one came out, quoted out of budget 15,000, I think it's quoted 15.
Right at.
Dollars.
Over, it was 15,182.
Yeah.
No,
For this space.
For what?
All the
just
spaces
little,
that have-
oh my, you gotta be kidding me.
I mean, is that, like, is that soundproof in the room and everything, or what? So you got a budget, you got it budgeted in this year's budget to do that?
I get that before. Okay.
Buy some pieces, we'll put it together.
Something we've discussed.
Seriously,
So you know all about that.
I don't know everything, but I know a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I can plug and play. Turn some loud Bluetooth, turn it to the piece back and back it down.
Y'all wanna bear with me now?
Ma'am,
Y'all wanna bear with me?
absolutely.
Okay. Good.
See my point.
I requested, water rate cuts, not necessarily water rates. Carly gave us an estimate if we reduce the rates by $5. I'm gonna try to read what I wrote down. This is about fairness. For 5 years, our residents have done their part. They have carried the burdens of rising utility rates. They feel the squeeze. Groceries, fuel, housing costs, they all have risen sharply. Utilities are essential services. Customers can't choose to use less. In the same way, they can cut other expenses. We represent real people, retirees, and the disabled on fixed incomes, single parents, working families, and business owners. They feel every rate increase. Empathy is not charity, it's sound leadership. Inflation and cost of living pressures have increased, prompting me to ask council to consider relief measures for our residents. This year, we ended with a sizable surplus. Now is our turn to respond. Not just with numbers, but with humanity. Let's offer relief and restore their confidence in the council's priorities. It's time to show empathy, to respond to the real financial strain our constituents are enduring. We are not operating at a deficit. In fact, we ended the year with a sizable surplus. We are in a strong position with our reserves, offering a modest relief to ratepayers. Now, is both fiscally responsible and socially responsive. Using a portion of unallocated surplus for temporary relief demonstrates sound leadership, not recklessness. Deficits can be addressed through use of contingency reserves, delaying certain non-critical capital outlay with ongoing monitoring of financial positions. This can be levered in part or whole from surplus or gradual shifts in capital priorities Some projects can be phased, reprioritized, or postponed. I am often asked, is it more urgent to buy new trucks or to relieve financial pressures on 3,450 families? Get into the stage. Our finance department has analyzed the impact of $5 reduction. Actually, I'm really wanting $7. It can be spread out across all utility rates to minimize impact on any one fund. I remember back a year or two ago, the water rates and utility rates used to be about the same amount because it was based on usage. Now I have a water bill of $80, and almost $10 of that is more than my water bill, which to me is not fair. You have in your packet, what to call you, some kind of somebody. The number of accounts is 3,450. Reduction is $5. Revenue reductions, $207,000. The savings is only $60 for us. Projected budget deficit is $152,000. Now, I was looking at some of our capital outlay, and I'm not sure whether they are really necessary at this time. But I don't know that, only John knows for sure. Chief Cruz,
Yes.
you're one of two K9 vehicles. And that's a real need at this time.
The ones we have now are 2018 models, they're reaching end of life, the air conditioners are going out. So it's definitely a need.
If you repaired an air conditioner, how much would it
We've
cost?
already repaired them multiple times.
Still, how much would it cost?
And I'm not worried about the sounds and operational of that vehicle. And the jobs that we do. In the past, we did park maintenance on vehicles, turning the parking lot. So it's more than just air conditioning. It's about making sure we have a vehicle that's safe, the officers to respond to the residents that need us.
I remember when you all had to ride those cars rather, until the wheels fell off.
And you know what? I don't want to be there again.
I don't want you there either. And you said you need how many patrol vehicles?
We usually do,
65.
we usually do regular patrol vehicles, we usually do 2 a year.
Is that a need then?
Yes.
Why?
There again, we're replacing older equipment.
But do you have to have it now?
Yes, we do.
I don't really believe that, but okay. To me, that would be 65. Streets need what they get. What is equipment pole barn?
Garrett's not in here, I believe that was for the gas department. Was that in the gas
Yes,
department?
it is.
Yes.
Once John stepped back in, I can't remember what that was for.
That's to store Some of it I know of, some of it is restoring the new equipment they got last year, the mini track hoe and trailers. They don't have facilities to park them currently, they're sitting out in the weather on the lot. And this is just to be able to put that equipment underneath the shed where it's not getting rained on, not rusting out in the weather. We've already spent money on this equipment, we don't need it going to waste by sitting out in the yard. And aside from that, some of the gas piping, like the water piping, has to be stored at least out of the sun, out of direct sunlight. Because if you leave it out in the sun, it can bleach it, it can weaken that pipe over time. And if we install that, fail, that
Understandable. What's hydraulic power pack?
again, that's, the hydraulic power unit can be used for a couple different things. We actually just got one on our budget last year in the water department. And what we use ours for is we have a hydraulic powered water pump that can pump a lot more water capacity out of any leak or anything that happens while on a job. I don't know which department is that one for, is that
For
wastewater?
sewer, yes.
Okay, similar in their front, they use it on sewer manhole issues. They use it to pump out some of the lift stations while they're working on them.
I'm just going through this to say that there are ways that we can relieve the burdens on our constituents. $152,000 can also come from reserve. And since we're not voting on anything, I just want to ask council to consider doing this for 5 years, and we've been raising the rates every year. And we have a little leeway this time, and I think we should at least give our constituents. Thank you.
Thank you,
Or
ma'am.
should I make a motion then?
Make a motion for,
Reducing the rates by $5.
I would need to.
I've got one question I had, something that came up a long time ago.
Come on.
Do we, okay, if any of y'all remember, do we have to have our water rates at a certain rate to get loans, low interest loans?
We have to prove that we're trying to maintain our equipment. And with the asset management plan that y'all approved, we told the state and DP that we would raise rates by 15%, I think, the first year.
Yeah.
Okay, remember.
Because we have to have a separate account where we're showing that we're able to withstand.
Okay, remember this do not have to come from the water rates. Just took this from water rates.
That was a rate study from the Florida Rural Water Association. And
I remember.
it was 15 years the first, or sorry, 15% the first year, and then a total of 25% within that 5-year period.
Because we
So
were,
far, we have not done any of that on the water rate.
because we were behind the 8 ball.
And we still are.
Uh-huh. And they gave us that plan to try and get us where we
That
needed
was
to
while
be.
JL was still here.
Yeah.
It's been a number of years ago.
And I'm not against any of this. I
No.
wanna make sure we don't, you know, blindly step into something.
If you do this, where is it gonna come from? You're gonna put your budget in a deficit, which is illegal.
Well, my feeling is, first of all, giving everybody $5 a month is gonna be a bookkeeping nightmare. That's number one with me, because I'm a bookkeeper, have been.
You have to change the rates.
What?
We just have to change the rates.
You change the rates, you're gonna jeopardize the loan deal. Oh,
But I said it don't have to come from them.
but that's what
But this is what,
where would you take it from?
Water was the one that really actually makes a profit. That's what I do with water.
Yeah, the water, I mean, we pulled from water several times this year to pay for stuff, and if you cut the rates, we don't have that cushion.
That's true.
can you bring back what was given to us? I think that's when I was mayor. And they didn't tell us we had to do it there. Same thing you're talking about.
He said just, we had to get up eventually to 25% increase.
Okay.
It's the asset management plan for, I think, water and wastewater has one. It's an added increase.
They're two separate plans.
Yeah, I remember that from a while back. If we didn't get to a certain level, then they're not
They
gonna lend
weren't.
us any more money.
It was
They
because
can
we
take
had
that
to,
into consideration when we ask for different grants and loans.
Right.
projects. They can choose that, hey, you're not doing what you said you would do, and they could choose not to give us these grants because,
we had to prove that we're
Right.
able to withstand on our own.
yes.
And I think we did that.
Somebody was.
No, we're behind the 8 ball. I remember him saying that.
Then.
I'm not against what you
Oh,
propose,
I'm not either.
but I just don't wanna get us in a bind and then we done negotiated with a contract for a certain percentage of that to be put to the side. And if we're not doing what we supposed to do, and we go back and we're needing money, we get rejected, so.
Yeah, I don't want $150,000 to cost 10 times that or more. That's all, it's,
The auditor just told us that we were in good shape.
We are, but it's because we have done some of these things.
it's not gonna stay there. Yeah.
And, let's see, we had water.
And you mentioned a while ago that we could save money by maybe postponing some projects. That's why we're in the position we're in now. The projects have been postponed year after year after year, and now we're at a got-to position.
I'm only speaking of this.
Only
It kept
speaking
it
what?
out there. That's why I was speaking of what was on capital outlay.
Yeah, I
If we're
understand,
looking-
but
If we're looking at water. We can go back. If we go back. Is it? Year 2021.
It should be near the end, maybe 401.
yeah, it's 401 at the top.
Water revenue. In 2021. We've increased it at least by $1 million if I'm looking at it this way.
Yeah, I see the bottom line has increased.
I'm looking at, am I looking at it right? Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah, but she's got a note there that without grants or capital outlay, that total would only be $1 million.
I'm trying to explain what you're saying was so far behind. That in 2021, we were at 1.9.
What I'm saying behind
Yeah.
then is getting projects done, getting our infrastructure up to where it needs to be. I mean, we're behind the 8 ball when it comes to that, because we put it off and postponed and put it off and postponed, and now we got to do something. So,
Joe's done a very good job.
yes, he has. He's been able to get money for us and able to do some of this stuff.
At any rate, this is what I'm proposing. Now, if you don't want to look at how far we've come, that's you. They said they don't want to vote on anything tonight. But I will.
Did you make it a motion?
I will.
Like I said, Councilman Hampton, I understand it is what it is that you're trying to do. But my only reason why I would not vote for this is because of the contract that we got with the water management.
That's why I'm trying to.
Where it has to
Before you
stay.
think.
Okay, where it has to stay at a certain percentage. If we take it down, that's gonna be frowned upon. Because we're already behind. Where they're saying that we should be putting money aside to show that we are able to stand on our own. Yeah,
They ask
yeah.
the state for money for help, and we cut rates, so we're not even trying to take care of our own self.
Yeah.
So we just keep charging the poor man. Poor man always have to pay for everything. You want everything.
We had to replace that asbestos concrete water main on our own, make it
Nobody ever
55,000 a
pays
year. It would take us
Yes,
89 years.
Not to mention that we want to treatment plant facility, we're trying to figure out.
It's not that I'm not thinking about them. I think about them every day. It's just that
And we're not doing anything.
I don't wanna have it later on when we gonna end up having to lay people off and we get projects not done.
I wouldn't ask for this if I thought that was gonna happen. Y'all give me some credit, please.
I'd
understand
love
what
for it
you-
to happen. I'd
yeah, I
love for it to
for
happen. Cause I mean, God, maybe, you know, Valdosta just went through a 20-something% increase.
Mhm.
Thomasville somewhere, I can't remember, somebody did that was.
But also Lake City.
Please don't take this the wrong way. Mayor, please.
No,
We just been over that. For the Boys and Girls Club. That I'm asking to do for the constituents. I don't know whether they come to you all or not. But they come to me often. Because they can talk to me. Because I understand. Because I've been there. People with money have not been there. They don't understand.
Been there.
They do
I've
not
been there too.
understand.
I've been there.
I've had my water cut off more than
We
once
supposed to have that,
when I was
but
younger.
we can't help the poor man. Everybody rushed and voted for that.
Well, you can help him by reducing his rates, but then you turn around and get from the state to do what we have to do. And he's paying anyway. We all pay.
Never mind. I'm done.
Okay, so you
That
gonna
just
motion or not? We need to move on.
Well, I got motion.
I don't
And you
know.
already told me how you feel about it.
Okay.
That's
Dylan,
just-
They wanna
this
talk,
don't make sense.
they wanna talk, any more discussion about the budget? From anyone?
In Boys and Girls Club, I voted for that because that's something
We
that's
all
needed.
did. We all did.
And the kick, because they feed multiple amount of kids in the community. So that's why I voted for that.
And they pay, and they
I don't
pay,
wanna go on a paper like I'm not trying to help people. And Councilman
Well-
Hampton, that's how you're putting it, that we're not all for, we're
No,
for
I'm
it.
just giving
I'm
you
for,
an
I'm for,
example.
I'm for the poor man. I've been there.
I'm just giving you an example.
I'm there now. I ain't had a job since October 16th of 2024. But God been blessing me to keep going.
This has nothing to do with it.
anyways, any more
A
discussion on,
full-time job.
any more discussion on the budget?
When do we have
Yep.
to have this done, Carly? What's our deadline on the budget?
Anything?
So we'll do another budget workshop in August. I think y'all had said y'all just wanted to do them at the meetings.
Okay.
And then we'll do our first public hearing September 11th, and we'll do our second public hearing. The regularly scheduled, you know, the date is pleasing me, but that's when the deadline is.
So the next meeting, we really have to have all of our ducks in a
It would
row.
be nice if we did for sure because of not having to change a lot in the last month.
Yeah.
But technically, we can change through the second meeting.
Okay.
September 23rd.
Yes, thank you.
When's the budget workshop?
We're just gonna do it at the meeting.
That's right, that's right. Okay. All right, any more discussion on the budget? Not agenda item 7G. Council to discuss the train depot roof and council to take any action deemed necessary.
We didn't get the state appropriation funded for that one. We asked around $800,000 for it. So we kind of need to figure out what we want to do going forward. If me, I'll just put the shingles back on like it was before, not worry about the liability insurance.
Yeah, but-
Y'all be comfortable with that.
But the shingles already been paid for.
FEMA reimbursed us for it. And they had told us that if we decided not to do it, we would have to give the money back.
So it's paid for if we wanna do it.
How
And if we
much,
don't, then, yeah.
Why can't we do that? And require renter to provide the liability.
Still think if somebody were to trip and fall walking down the steps, that would be on the city, that'd be on us.
Well, that's gonna happen anyway.
If there ain't any insurance,
I think they do have their own business and insurance.
I don't know how that would work out.
If the roof were to fall in, God forbid, that would be on us.
Oh, Lord.
would
Is
they,
that,
would they insure the building or the grounds or whatever without the roof and exclude the roof? Would they do that?
It's the liability. They are insurance building.
Okay.
Cause if anyone got hurt
If anybody got hurt,
in the.
is,
Okay.
have it, has an engineer looked at it? Structural engineer?
I couldn't ever get anybody to get it close and it was prior work, so we could. If we do a RFQ for engineering services. I'll charge 10, 15 grand, figure out what it'd take to shore it all up. If that's possible. That's what we ran into last time.
It's been tried and tested over the past 2 years. It's,
Nobody's gonna give us a price to engineer and construct, because you'll know what the engineering is.
Like FEMA will only reimburse for the shingles. They're not gonna reimburse for any extra things that we do.
right.
Mhm. Well, it's been there a long time and stood up to
Right.
storms and all for a long time, just like it is.
It's been tested.
Yeah.
It didn't go anywhere. The shingles did, but everybody's did. Well, most everybody's.
Motion to replace the shingles.
Councilmember Bruns? Councilmember Hampton?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum?
Yes. Okay, agenda item 7H, council to discuss sale of parcel number 07740-000. Also known as 415 Plantation Road, and council will take any action deemed necessary. That must be an old picture. Most of those trees aren't standing any longer.
Probably did. They did.
Anyway, so you got somebody interested in, I think the person's interested in purchasing it's got the lot right there. Yeah, Dan Castle, senior. Fire chief's dad. County fire chief's dad.
Another fire chief.
Yeah, I was being specific, trying to be specific after I realized what I said.
Read that, 8,500. That's land value of the property appraiser. We got several quotes to clean the trees up and put them on the right away for us to pick them up. The lowest we got was $8,000.
And
I said the intention is to buy it, clean it up.
what is it in a flood zone? It's gotta be. With a mess. It goes underwater every time it rains.
He already, if we sell a lot to him, he already has someone lined up to clean it. Just so y'all know.
So that's,
Yeah,
why don't you take pond in here so you don't look?
probably.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Plantation Road.
Yes, ma'am. It's inside that curve. I didn't even know the city owned it until it got brought to my attention. I had no idea.
Policy is to sell for no less than the assessed value. I think I would think hard about that for this. He's gonna have to pay for it and get it cleaned up. Price.
We need to,
Did you get the appraisal?
Shauna said 17,000 if we take it off the city on the website, it's 8,500. There ain't no way that's for 17,000.
not being underwater like it is. Well, in the flood zone. I have seen it underwater. I've seen, well, all that green, I believe it.
Any kitchen wall you want to make this?
He just asked that we take into consideration the cleaning up the lot.
Well, there's a lot to be cleaned.
I really feel like clean it right away as soon as he takes ownership. He owns a lot of property.
Yeah,
He fixes them up, he rents them.
I think he's got a machine.
Keeps his properties clean.
I think he's got a machine to do it with.
I'm sure he's contracting it out.
Okay,
He's already talked to somebody about.
gotcha.
So he wants to
Who is,
purchase it.
who is he?
Dan,
Who is he?
Dan Castle,
Oh, okay. I don't know.
the county fire chief is dead. He moved here from Keys. He just, he invests in real estate,
Yep. A lot of different properties.
does a lot of work on himself. He's got a house on Seminole, come to think of it. But yeah, and I think his daughter lives in that one house. Anyway, yeah, that thing needs to be cleaned up. I think some people threw some trees on it from some other properties too. It's grown up, and what it grown up is dead trees. Well, it's just a mess. It really needs it.
Do we need to come up with a dollar?
Yes.
Sale price? So what we need to do?
What is the policy?
You know, pretty much negotiated price.
Oh, okay.
This is,
Let's say not less than the appraised value, but other considerations can be made.
so the cleanup was anywhere between 8 and 20,000. So the cheapest being 8, and that was with putting is that for getting rid of the trees or putting them on the road for us to get rid of?
Just moving the ones that were
Down.
damaged and then putting it to the right of way for us to pick up.
Was it 20,000 getting rid of the trees too?
Like,
That was just putting them by the road. Is he gonna get rid of the trees or is he gonna put them by the road or,
Well,
work with.
I don't know.
the way our policy is, you know, if he owns a property adjacent to, you know, like he owns 2 parcels and they're tied together,
Right,
he can place it on the right of way, but if it's over one large truckload, then he would pay $50 for the first truckload, $100 thereafter. And the city would pick it up.
That's
He
not,
would be eligible for that because.
that's not a bad price.
It's
for him.
cheap,
Yeah,
and-
that's what I mean.
But it also takes us a lot of time.
What
But-
was?
but at
what
this
was
point,
the
there are trees.
Appraised value, what'd you say?
Website shows 8,000.
8?
8,500.
Yeah, about.
Or you say 17,000, those that's what.
Sean, they took it off city owned property.
About selling this to one person.
Who
How do
owns
you know?
adjacent property?
Huh?
Who owns adjacent property?
Doesn't matter, maybe somebody
Okay.
else will pay you more.
I think we had to check.
We
with
sent
Gary.
letters to the adjoining property owners. That's what our policy states, that
I'm uncomfortable, disposing of property like it was popcorn. And, we need to do it with a sealed bid.
Need to do it with what?
Still bid?
Excuse me.
Oh.
That works.
It's fine.
But they going, everybody's gonna have to understand and take into account. Gotta be cleaned up.
I'll put that in.
That's gonna be part of selling it, isn't it?
You can set a reserve too, where it has to be served.
All right, let's agree to that.
I agree.
What's the reserve?
Reserve price with it being all cleaned up. Correct? But with them paying us to haul off the stuff or them, or we just, see, there's all these variables.
Let's say as it is now, what we add now, as it is.
As the property is now.
And they buy it as is and clean it up. On a reserve, what, 3,000?
Motion?
Y'all agree?
He suggested you make a motion.
Are we motioning that we sell it as a with sealed bids? Is that what,
For the minimum reserve,
how much?
3,000.
3?
Cause I don't even know if that lot's buildable.
Why 3,000?
I just throw a number out. If you got a better number, throw it out.
It's only worth 8 and they're gonna have to clean it up. That's what I guess that's where.
Property owners do, don't they clean up their property?
I'm not gonna.
Well, then the city
I'm not
needs to clean it
defending
up.
I'm telling you what he said.
Cause we own it now. So it looks like we need to clean it up.
We need to get busy because we have a whole lot we need to clean up.
Got that right, there's a lot. This is the way for somebody else to put it back on the tax rolls and get it cleaned up and not cost us anything.
3,000.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum, it can go higher.
That's what it was sale for 3,000. Do what y'all heard.
You gotta,
Hey.
throw a number out,
We know it.
man. Hey, throw a number out.
Nobody listening, we know.
I just throw a number out. You throw one out yourself.
She said 8,500.
8,500.
The question it was clarified, it may or may not make a difference to you all. So now I want to address another property that's not on the surplus list, where there was a different response. So this property is not on the surplus land list that the council had already noted that they wanted to sell off surplus land. Someone's come to the council and said, I want to buy this land that owns the city. And I understand from what Dane was telling me, it wasn't on the surplus land list and
They took, all the plantation ground got took off of it.
That lot was bought or given to us back before sewer was put in Pine Ridge, put a lift station in. That was the purpose of that lot. Then when they did their design, they realized it would take more than one lift station. So we did not use that lot for a lift station. That's why those homes have the E1 pumps. So we have no use for that lot now. That's my opinion.
It's in the flood zone, so you probably can't build on it.
I think that's why all
Yeah,
of them
they-
got took off of there, because they found out they were all in flood zone.
Yeah, them other houses got built before that was a thing.
so it was on the list, it just came off the list as one of the ones we were pushing, like.
Years ago. That was back
It
then.
may have been, I'm not sure.
$20.
That's during the time they were, the city would give you the land.
They did at a certain time to build on it.
Now you give me $1 for it, John.
Sit there and pay taxes on a flooded piece of property, and have it cleaned up.
The only reason why he wants it, cause he joins it, but yeah, still bid's fine. Still bid works.
I make a motion that we sell it.
But all he's got to do is walk in there tomorrow and file whatever you file. The city's gonna have to clean it up.
Let's set up for that happen.
The thought was crossed my mind. But anyway. What say the council?
Well, I was starting to make a motion
Yes, ma'am.
that we sell it under sealed bid, minimum of 3,000.
And with the understanding that it's gonna get cleaned up.
We're not gonna clean it up.
I mean,
It's as is.
whoever buys it's gonna clean
Yeah,
it up.
yes.
Okay.
There's gonna be a certain time limit to get it cleaned up.
I'm
Good.
not,
Throwing it out there.
6 months. Hopefully sooner. There's bugs in it.
minimum, yeah.
Have it cleaned up in 6 months. Okay.
So the motion is sell it a sealed bid, minimum reserve of 3,000, must be cleaned up within 6 months.
Mhm.
We have a second? Sorry.
Diane just made the motion.
Yeah, we have a second. Going once. Going twice. Motion dies for lack of a second. I can't, I'm assuming there's a better idea.
Got to give the man an answer of some kind.
I'm all for selling it, 'cause I don't see any reason to keep it. And if we keep it, we need to clean, we're gonna need to keep it, we need to clean it up. We're talking about selling it for what it's appraised for, less what it's gonna take to clean it up. Is what. I mean, if we're gonna sell it for what it's appraised for, we need to clean it up. And I won't tell what we're gonna spend doing that, anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 apparently. We may not even get our money back.
Got a question.
Yes, sir.
Or, John, what's the status of the other request to purchase some land the city has a hold of it?
You are on it.
Try to stay out of these things, but it seems to be a potential problem if you're following your policy for one person for the last 5, and you're not gonna follow through this one. I feel like we want to write an article about that.
Exactly.
People will get upset. If you wanna change your policy, I'm fine with it. I think it's personally a little low to go with the property appraiser's assessment, which he's admitting to you. If it wasn't city owned, it would be higher. So I understand you might wanna change your policy, but if I was legal counsel, I would have spoke up and said, you can't be selling one for this, for one, you haven't questioned or cleaned up or trees the last 4 or 5. But this one's something where somebody sealed bids and maybe we need to clean it up first. It seems like if I was one of the prior 4 or 5, I might be upset.
I was gonna be talking about one of those properties in my,
Thank you, Aaron.
my,
Okay, but we need,
that I thought that this property was on the surplus list, that's why I was asking for.
I was trying to pull it
Because I
up
was following up
to
on the
read it,
200
but I couldn't find it.
Davis Drive
Where is
request,
it?
but I can wait for that time. Or it's
okay,
been
we
on-
need direction now.
Well, if you all remember, there was a property, one of those possible previous 5 that could be upset because they were told that it was not being supported. However, the address I'm referring to is the 200 Davis Drive address, if you remember. A person bought property and ended up having a structure on it that was adjoined to the property that's, I think, behind Winn-Dixie or something.
Yes.
And,
There was a
that
building on
lot-
city
that
property.
Building,
Yeah.
is actually on city land.
Mhm.
And there was a discussion, it was not on the surplus list. We had no desire, we're one pulling pillars out there to sell that property. And the council seemed to regard the idea that we don't wanna be in a position where people could come pick out land, regardless if it's not their fault or not, say, I wanna buy this, and then put pressure on us to resolve it versus if this particular thing was a violation regarding our zoning laws in the building versus like you take out the expense to remove the structure and be in compliance. And the reason why I had it slated to share was because that same realtor has contacted us again. And also because Mayor Ward wanted, even if there was no agreement to sell it, to at least determine if it could be sold, if there was any utilities that would be interrupted or have to be dealt with. So I was gonna answer that question. But it has seemed, or at least in prior conversations with the board, that we've been open to sell even at very minimum cost. Surplus land that were listed, because that was the city's prerogative. And that what was discussed about the 200 Davis Drive was potentially opening up a can of worms where people could now come. Or the expectation would be if I want this property because I'm not compliant or just want it because I want it, that then it would be beholden of the city to start making decisions about selling property when the goal was to surplus property. So this could be differentiated different. I hear a lot of people saying, I don't know, I think this was why we didn't put it on, or it was on the surplus list. But it has been stated in other council meetings, at least one or two others that I've been a part of regarding not making a decision to go forward. There may have been other reasons why, but the idea of especially that wasn't attached to like businesses, but even then, the property had been on the surplus list property. So that has been stated openly in a board council meeting before, but like I said, I was gonna address the 200 Davis Drive property because there was an outstanding question whether even if the council was open to selling, was there any utilities that would be interrupted or on that property in that where that building is? It's not. But I had already informed the realtor and the owner of 200 Davis Drive that the council was inclined not to sell. There was the surplus list. I don't even think I got into the surplus list because that person wouldn't necessarily know, but I know they reached back out to John. John reached back out to me saying, can this
be done?
You know, or not so much can this be done, but address that realtor again or that owner again. So I was gonna address it here so I can say, recently I readdressed it with the council and this is what the decision is.
Did you find it?
It's not on the website.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I was looking
Yeah.
for it. I couldn't find it either.
And I just don't want to put it on an original list, so.
So tonight, we either need to follow the council, follow our policy, or change the policy, one of the two, right?
Well, I don't believe there's a hard written policy. I just believe that it's been the intention. It is.
I thought we did do one.
So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
thought we
was
did
on
one
some of the
too.
list of the policies we were gonna redo.
that you just.
First you
I
got.
knew there was a policy about the surplus property.
Then follow the policy.
There's a regarding the intentions of surplus property, and that's what I was, and this is not a surplus property. 200 Davis Drive is not a surplus property. I guess you just affirmed that this also is not.
Probably on, we're not using the surplus. I think there was a list.
Well, the list she's referring to, we didn't necessarily call it a surplus property. Years ago, we had some city-owned lots that they would, it was an incentive, and I
It
can't
was a
remember what they called that.
incentive program.
They would give you the lot, but you had to build a home for $75,000.
Gas devices.
Be on city gas.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
like
city
that. It wasn't necessarily
utilities.
all-
Well, and also what I'm referring to is, I guess, the first few months I came to office, there was a discussion, there literally was that the council said that there was like an initiative to get rid of surplus property. And that's what the term was.
Yeah, the county's in the middle, the county's in the middle of doing that right now.
Right, and there was a list of properties and even a display of where the properties
It was.
existed.
Right.
So,
I remember that.
Yes, sir.
Maybe there's some difference, I'm not aware, but haven't we recently discussed this numerous times?
Mm-hmm.
We have.
Cribs, Wilson's.
We have.
Blue property, Cal Thomas property. This is-
Martine.
Martine.
Mhm.
Last year.
Yeah, it has.
Or is this different because those are streets or something? Because I feel like. I remember this in depth in last year.
We had a policy for it.
Oh, the surplus property.
Yeah.
Right.
Written about it, technology. There's been 3 businesses in the last year.
There is.
Mm-hmm.
There is. Those residential, so
Question, because it's an alley.
Right, and I think that came up with a different set of rules.
Right.
Our attorney said.
Because that's
because
what you needed to use.
Instead of the alleyway, you have to give it to the majority, but property or streets apparently are different than alleyways, I guess. At least we
They
got
are.
different legal direction that time.
Yeah, they are, and I was just focusing on surplus versus another use for the city to use it.
we're about to be okay if we took a 5-minute bathroom break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our policy, that's what we supposed to be doing.
That's what we should.
Mm-hmm.
Having a policy if you're not gonna follow it.
Yeah, cause I'm telling you, we just voted on this policy.
That's what I said, I'm going at 8,500.
It's pulling it up now.
We need to get that put into,
All the problems is not listed in the policy.
We on break, had to say. You say this gonna be a break.
Yeah.
Till we first,
We had to stop.
we clean up all the properties, it was looking good, nice and general.
It's a mess.
There's a bottle on the table, it ain't gold.
We found it.
Water.
Breaking her in.
Change 85, I mean, 3,085.
April, don't you quit.
Y'all ready?
Yep.
Motion itself.
Meeting's back adjourned, it's not adjourned, it's back in session.
And follow the policy.
Okay. Motion to sell it and follow the policy is what he said.
Where Aaron at?
Second,
Ain't this recorder?
You got a recorder around.
Uh-huh. It's somewhere.
Have a
Right there.
motion and a second, that we ready for a vote.
I say,
Councilmember Brown.
second.
Sell it and follow the policy.
Well, we're not going by the appraisers. Price.
Whatever it says on there is what we're gonna do.
Can we get that put on the site?
Got it, read about the policy.
What does that say?
You think you're gonna rewrite it?
Yeah, we go back and think of the new policy. Too many questions in our policy.
Because we've already followed this policy. I'll send out letters.
Real basic,
And do it.
that have specifics. Only that it no less than assessed value. They're responsible for all costs associated with it.
Mhm.
And we have conveyance rights. If it goes into more stuff, it's bordered by two or more that are interested, but this isn't the way that is. It's just one person.
Section.
The price is where we're at now. Nothing on there about price?
No less than assessment.
No less
The
than
property
assessed
value of
value
also the property
$8,000.
Property appraiser.
Phew, we finally got there.
Okay, this is
Sorry,
disposal of surplus.
That's what we finally got there.
This is not.
got what?
It's appraisal price.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion, and a second on the table. Do we have a vote?
Grimes,
Yeah.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kendrick.
Yes.
That wasn't a price.
Ms.
Oh,
Des,
it's saying right there with the property appraisal,
Let's say no-
whatever her value.
All right.
Unless. Unless.
Right.
All right.
say again, Aaron, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Say again?
Your policy statement says no less than, it doesn't say that that's the price. It says no less than. I know that's what the council's done, that's, I'm just saying.
We could sell it for more than that if we wanted to, is what he's saying, but
Sure.
that's what, can't sell it for less.
Conditions in there, will bring it, but
I've got. I'm not sure, but. If he doesn't, we're still gonna have to spend at least $8,000 to clean it up.
See, we need to do that with all the properties around the city. And not just be concerned about one property.
Well, not everybody wants to buy.
Well, we don't know. But we can't just
I'll
show
let him
favoritism.
know
all right.
8,500.
Is it-
Mm-hmm. According to policy.
Agenda item 7I, council to discuss interlocal agreement with Taylor County Sheriff's Office and council to take any action deemed necessary. Just standard interlocal agreement, like we've always had. Have a second?
Second.
Ms. Anthony seconded.
Councilmember Grimes,
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kendrick.
Yes. Agenda item 7J, reapproval of the amended minutes, June 24th, 2025 regular session.
The grants, that letter y'all signed was for those type of grants. I think the original minutes just said hurricane related grants. This gets to say CDBG and HMGP.
Okay.
Well, hurricane related grants.
Let's create what kind of grants they are, being specific. Very good. Do I have a motion?
It just wasn't written in the minute.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Councilmember Grimes, Councilmember Hampton,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhull,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Kendrick.
Yes. Agenda item 7K, approval of minutes, July 22nd, 2025 regular session.
On that. Well, it says 22, but. Okay, I got them backwards on the, let's go back on the June the 24th minutes. Would be page 3, they're not numbered, page 3 at the top, it says. The IPMC workshop was scheduled for 7/9/25 at 4 p.m. at the city council chambers, meaning in the future, we're gonna have it, and yet this is dated, June the 24th. Well, that'd be right. Never mind, Diane's lost her mind.
Okay. And.
Motion to approve minutes of July the 22nd.
Second.
Regular session.
Right? Councilmember Hampton? Yes. Councilmember Woodball?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Kendrick?
Yes. Good manager.
How Thomas wants to buy. Also here, city owns, it's old abandoned well.
That's not usable, clarify that.
He bought this one, he's cleaning up, he already owns, between him and Red or being two of those guys, they own pretty much this whole block, I think, except this parcel maybe. But y'all see where he's doing the work to clean this one up. So as he has, when you get this whole parcel would be developable. So he wants this piece from us.
I just got it cut in half.
Is that listed on our excess property?
Understand?
It was talked about.
Didn't we already discussed at a meeting before?
We did.
Oh, we
It's been
did.
discussed before.
Yeah, there's last meeting.
Well, it was no, 2-3 years ago.
That was 2 meetings ago.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking about a couple of years ago, it got discussed too. Yeah,
So the whole person.
well, everything's 2 or 20 years ago with me.
I haven't been there in 2 years.
I can't see it.
And
Same
there,
situation, he's not, that building has no value. It shows a little bit of value on the property appraiser, 2,500 or whatever, but he's going to tear that down. He's offering to pay the assessed value of the land value, 3,000.
and there are no adjacent.
We sent
We've
letters out.
sent letters.
He's the adjacent landowner.
Well, we
That's
have
what I
one
was,
other.
you did have another, okay.
He said they'll buy it for the land value of 3,000. He's no interest in the land. It's gonna cost him money to tear the building down. So he's asking us not to consider that value as part of the assessed value.
You gotta get rid of the well too, don't you?
We
Well,
abandoned.
it's been abandoned as of yesterday.
Is it still there?
But it has been properly abandoned.
So same thing, whether you call the value of the building or value and busted trees that gotta be repaired, he's asking for a break on the raise value.
Say again, I'm sorry.
Isn't it becoming a little,
Redundant.
becoming a little precarious that we can start selling land, and I understand you're saying the appraised value, I guess, is you're saying assessed value. By someone knowing someone or what land may be owned by the city and attempting to buy it without something like a bid, or it's not been listed as excess property that we intended to sell. That's a great way to just sort of like, who you know, grab up a lot of land at very cheap prices. Unless you wanna change and include this as a part of the surplus land, which you'll have the right to do. But,
What do you mean? Who?
I know you said it'll be arguing about the same thing, and, so.
No.
That you all want to treat like you just do the other thing, or should we have something where we're looking at the policy to extend the way we define Essex land as any land that the city council has deemed having no value to, I don't know, the operations of the city, or some way of gauging it versus just like, can I get it on the calendar? There's already questions, the letter's gone out, and the council hasn't even voted whether or not you want to sell it. And maybe, I know I missed the last meeting because I had COVID, so maybe this was raised the last meeting. So if I did, I still have the same question, but if you all knew about this and you feel that it fits what the provision is for surplus property, even if it's not named prior to, I just think like that, I just caution against it without at least clarifying, because I know Mr. Hart said he doesn't know what surplus list we had, but there has been one. Now we have to do some reach on that.
Well, three of them, maybe even come up with a definitive surplus list. But if something comes out that we didn't even know we owned, that we could, the surplus list or the surplus list that, I don't know if it exists or not, but if it benefits, it's a living document that can be changed. Properties can be pulled off, properties can be put on. And it's done by the council, as far as I know, so it's done in public, so there's no he and no and backdoor deals that I know of.
Suggesting anything with that.
So-
What I was suggesting is the idea of our putting for the property that we want to sell versus a citizen coming and deciding they want to buy. I was suggesting, I was saying that what was suggested when we were talking about Davis Drive a few months ago, you know. just-
I understand if somebody builds a piece of something on the city property, I mean, that's on them, I do understand that.
So you differentiating.
How am I differentiating?
I thought that's what you were saying about the idea of someone building something on city property.
I said if somebody knowingly does it and then wants us to fix it for them, I'm not sure what to say about that, to be straight and honest with you. So,
What's say bill?
Shirley,
Ms. Hampton,
what's your
Ms.
opinion
Hampton,
on
what's your
this?
opinion on this?
Whether we sell that property to Cal Thomas or not?
I'm for following policy.
I'll follow policy, that's fine too.
He would have better use than we would. When he puts it all together.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm not arguing that, but if it's not listed on our surplus property list, do we have the right to sell it to him since other people have come and,
Well, you declare it,
huh?
you declare it surplus.
Well, then that's what we need to do
And
tonight.
it's on the list.
How much trouble is it to declare something surplus?
Right.
Our policy never even mentioned surplus list. A surplus property is property we don't need. Every property we have, we don't need, is surplus.
No operational value.
So I'm saying, is it an ordinance? Is it a, what?
There's no reference to a surplus list in policy.
The policy we just discussed literally lays out procedure.
I understand that.
We hold 2 meetings.
I'm talking about this list.
First hearing and the second hearing is declared surplus property.
I'm just talking about the list.
This is not coming to play when we talk about Cribbs or Wilson's or any others we talk about. Why are we talking about this now?
Exactly. I didn't bring up the list. It was brought up for me. I didn't even know a list existed, to be honest with you.
That if there is an inoperable use, I think that's how you define it, operational use, that is declared surplus property if you want to sell it. I just think that clarification probably needed.
Okay, well, let's declare it surplus property. We're not gonna use it. It's in the middle of his property.
Have a motion on that?
I'm so excited that he's bought that property.
Look, we did it already.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Have a second? Do we have a second to declare that surplus? A motion and a second, Mr. Brown.
What was that?
Sorry?
You're declaring it surplus. It will appear on an agenda.
Right, in the future, yeah. All right, we got a motion and a second to declare it surplus. We're gonna have a, first and second meeting on that?
So, well, that, one we sold already, but not declared.
That's my point.
A surplus is surplus by definition, not by list.
Can you pull the policy up? Just have it there. That's literally the policy, just followed, you did have to be, to declare it surplus. That's what you did every time since you've been city manager.
Yeah, as a ordinance to sell it.
That's right, that's the ordinance, to declare surplus property, that's what we've done, and that's what I think you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Do have.
Without the notice, without.
So we have to have 2 meetings and all that to declare it surplus, then 2 meetings to sell it later. Is that what? No?
Oh, dog.
Had an animal control hearing, I apologize, that was a video from the animal control. I apologize. Looking at municipal code, I promise you.
It's okay.
I apologize. That was a 2.5 hearing, 2.5 hour.
Andrew Murray was at that hearing. And he's tickled over
Any sale has to be done by ordinance. So
I'm-
just take
Exactly.
meetings.
I'm all for selling these properties out, but I wanna do it right. I don't want later on someone to come up here and this podium and say, I'm finna sue you guys because y'all did this, this, and this. So,
I'm gonna rewrite the policy, so it's clear. Bring it to y'all. Okay.
Do we want to table this? Okay. Strike my motion. and
Motion.
table it.
Motion rescinded, okay. All right, anything else, John? Okay. Others, do you have anything?
Quick announcement, that's what I'm calling it, quick announcement, case with the civil infraction case regarding, I just downloaded this or deleted, with the contractor who cut the gas line. If y'all remember that case, they cut the gas line, and it's dealing with construction over by Holiday Inn. As I shared with you all before, we went to court, the person did not. We went to court and we asked, could we look into having it heard in a magistrate court or a different jurisdiction? That was not possible, and I shared with you all that, that person didn't show up. So the court actually placed it on the calendar again. The malfeasance, malfeasor is from Texas. Expectation, like the last court hearing, he won't be responsive, and if it doesn't show up, I'll argue a motion for summary judgment. Because there's penalty, several $1,000s available, for what they did. It wasn't just that they made the accident, but they did not report it. If it wasn't for, some other people who were working at the site, if something would have blown up, no one would have known about it for at least 2 hours. They didn't return back to the site. The remaining issue on there, and it's not even remaining, was a further conversation. If we do win judgment, how far the city wants to go in pursuing it. So I'll just let you know what happened. The hearing is scheduled August 19th, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. in Judge Blue's office. I did just want to note. I said that, I would start making like, either, notations or just aspects of sunshine law and or potential opportunities for, some type of rule of procedure to review, a few months ago, and I had not started including that. I did do a memo recently, so I just wanted to note, particularly this ever-growing, discussion with the eminent domain desire by some people of the public involving the county commissioner or the county commission. Now there's been presentation from the city council. The private actor Andy Jackson is also a member of our zoning board. It was interesting. I was grateful to also hear from Taylor County Development Authority. I just wanted to note that for collegial, for social purposes, there's no reason why you should be concerned about violating sunshine law. I just wanted to note, although you all are not on the same boards, when you have a likable, you have a very reasonable sense that a matter could come before the council or has gone before the council, that you're not permitted to talk, when I say you as elected officials, are not permitted to talk about matters that will come before the council, potentially for decision-making with people on other boards inside your, on other boards like the zoning board and the county commissioner, one-on-one unless it's in a public forum. And just, I'm only noting that you can see that that conversation is only gonna get bigger and it'll be very tempting. Now, you have the right to talk to one-on-one to private citizens, a development, a person, a business developer who's not on a board, appointed board, particularly for the city of Gary. I just wanted to note that just so you can be mindful. Cause it can get very, cause you have business owners who are also on the zoning board and also on these things, but they don't serve as your colleagues in the same collegial body, which is the intention, but, I would just suggest, because the whole goal of the sunshine law is just to make sure it doesn't seem like that by the time we have meetings, that is really sort of saying yes to something that's already been decided outside of the meeting. So I would just caution against that. And so that was just gonna be my sunshine law tip for today. Myself, and I think, Ward, you're going to the Florida League of Cities conference this weekend. It starts on Thursday, and, everything else, I'll just wait for the next meeting or follow up with John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Carly. Sorry.
Thank you for looking into that for me. Because I received a call from someone to me regarding that. We just talked about. Yes. So you
But if
can,
it's a private citizen, even a business owner,
I understand how that is.
I think he don't resign from the board now.
Who's that?
He
Who resigned?
Mr. Andy.
Andy resigned from what?
Planning and zoning.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Today. That effective
58.
today. Today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
nobody was accepted. That's all for.
So we gotta find another zoning, the planning and zoning board member now. Okay. So you have who?
Yes.
Okay. Carly? Jamie?
Nothing today.
RV?
No.
Danielle? Hey, Miss Shirley?
Okay, Jamie, could you, get Bruce to look at the property on J. Smith and 19, bigger property. Overgrown,
Which side of the intersection?
it'll be on, if I'm headed south. So, it's across from, yes,
On that corner.
yes. And what happened? Did you run everyone away? The service station, no Munchies, and that vacant lot, I don't see anyone there anymore.
Well, we haven't done anything, but the property owner cannot allow people to be on that property consuming alcohol or he's in violation. Maybe a message to deliver, but we haven't done anything.
Landry?
Would you introduce your sidekick to us?
Yes, ma'am. This is April, our new admin assistant. That will be doing the meeting. She took over part of Amy's role, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Welcome, April. I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Miss Benita? Brian's?
Yes, sir. Could you get us a sound system in here? You're a good alarm out.
Yes.
Yeah, huh? What? Going deaf. But, only thing I've got is yard trash, and I'm gonna ask a question. I don't really want an answer for tonight. I just want to think about it. You go past the house, it's got 2 truckloads of trash. So you just totally skip it. Why not pick up 1 truckload? See my point? Is that a flaw in our ordinance somewhere, or? You see what I'm saying? If there's 1 truckload, you pick it up. If there's 2 truckloads, you pick nothing up. If I understand correct.
State, if you have all those outside, you have to pay for it. It's an ordinance.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, well, why at least get one?
What you're asking is us to pick up a little bit this month, next month, a little bit.
Or at least get a truckload and let them pay for the,
17 months. It would take 17 months to pick it up.
I saw one today that's probably that big.
So then it's gonna sit out there and then the neighbors are gonna complain, and they're already complaining.
Right.
And some of those piles that you're referring to in your neighborhood, those people have, I've sent them letters and they have agreed to the payments. The guys are just now getting back into that neighborhood and hoping to start picking them up. Now, there's some that I'm gonna have to send letters to,
Okay,
that I was waiting because I knew that it might get brought up tonight. So
I got you,
I
but-
actually have 4 that I need to send letters to right now.
yeah, I'll
Just
just,
be prepared next meeting.
yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, but you see my point.
But if we don't pick it all up, then they're complaining because it sits out there.
People are complaining either way, you know, it seems like.
But I literally have somebody that's calling every day about a pile out there right now,
Gotcha.
every day. Actually, about 2 piles that's by him. And both of those people have agreed to pay the charges. We just have not made it out there to pick them up.
And something else need to think about too, I'm gonna hush. This is the second round of trees that are dead. They are everywhere. And it's gonna be a lot of picking up.
A lot of bugs.
Yeah, I had one to follow my truck.
And that's gonna put us further behind.
Exactly. I got 7 in my yard.
How are the trucks running?
Look, quiet.
Maybe we need to go find some, well, never mind, I ain't gonna say it in the meeting.
I'm scared.
Thank you all.